But I will start with, well, I can say that you're going to meet some key figures, some top figures in Israel, including the president, and learning about a little bit about the political system and circumstances. But I would like to start with a short story and go from it for something to something I would like to share with you. You've all heard about the Yom Kippur or the War of October 1973. And there are a lot of stories about this war. I would like to concentrate in one of them. There is a place in the Golan Heights. In the Golan Heights, you know that there was a Syrian attack, mainly with tanks. We were, in some cases, outnumbered by 1 to 10, something like this. It was like I was 3 when it happened, but I heard others. I heard my father, and I heard others, some of them friends. It was like trying to stop, you know, a flow of water, a stream of water with your bare hands, like this. You can't stop water with your hands, right? It keeps going all over. And there is a spot there. There is a kind of a small fortress, a position that's called Tel Saki. The story of Tel Saki is, in a few words, is that there was a platoon there, something like, all in all, when others joined from other forces that were left without nothing, something between 20 or 30 soldiers, and they were attacked and then conquered by a Syrian brigade or division or something like that. Was the whole area conquered by the Syrians. They went down to the bunker. They had a bunker there, and they hid in the bunker. And at a certain point, they understood that the Syrians had no intention to go down and look for them. But in order to make sure that there is no one left, they intended to throw some hand grenades and finish with them. So one of them volunteered to go out of the bunker and to pretend to be the sole survivor, and this way to avoid the Syrians from attacking the others. So he went out. His name is Shimshon Nagauker. He's still alive and healthy, thank God. And he went with his hands up, trying to make them understand that he's the sole survivor. And they would have shot him, but he was wearing an overall of tankists, of tank crew, and they thought him to be a pilot. So they didn't shoot him because they thought he was a pilot. They moved him to Damascus, but they did not believe his story, and they threw the grenades down to the bunker. Miraculously, they killed no one, but those who were injured got even more severely injured. But he was sure that everybody got killed because of him. So he went into captivity for 4 or 6 months. I don't remember. I think 6 months. They were in Syria, with the horrible feeling that he caused the death of 30 of his friends. And when he came back with the other prisoners of war, he was one of the only released prisoners that was in a very bad mood. Like he was not happy at all. He said, "I'm coming back to the country where I caused the loss of 30 of its soldiers, my country, my people, my friends." And he was, he was very sad at the day that he was actually coming back to freedom. And after the welcoming and everybody hugged him and everything, and he went to the car that was waiting for him, and he saw someone, like leaning on the car waiting. And he said, "Shimshon Nagauker?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Where have you been? We're waiting for you. We've been waiting for 6 months to celebrate our saving from the bunker, and we said we're not going to celebrate until you arrive." This was the first time he knew that his friends was not only that they were saved, but they considered themselves to be saved because of him. Like he sacrificed himself for them. Now, the story how Tel Saki was rescued and freed by the IDF is a different story, a very interesting one, but I don't have time to tell you that, so we'll find another occasion maybe. But Tel Saki is in the southern part of the Golan Heights. Now, maybe a couple of miles, even less, from it, and actually it's a fortress that replaced it after the war. for decades. There is a 116 fortress or position that was, it's an IDF's position. It was kind of abandoned, but now it's manned again, and it's manned by people who defend this border, in my opinion, no less than defending it by fire and ammunition and arms. They defend it by mercy and kindness. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about in a very few words. About a year and a half ago, friends came to me and told me that they have decided to try and help the miserable Syrians that suffer for years because of the civil war there. And they have asked me, I'm a government official, they've asked me to try and connect them. We thought of one direction. By the end, we went to another direction, to the Golan Heights, to an IDF project that is called Good Neighbor Project. And these people are not only friends, as I said, not only friends of Israel, not only friends they're friends of humanity. Don and Sonra Tipton, they sit here. They run the Friendships organization, if you heard about it. I know that several of you most definitely heard about it, and many of you know them already. They run this organization, they run this operation, and the camp is functioning now as we speak in Syria. I mean, in the east side of the border fence. They're exposed in Syria with their people, trying to bring as much good as possible to these miserable Syrians. And I'm not naive, and I'm an Israeli. I was born between the Six-Day War and the 73 War. So I was born actually during the War of Attrition. And so I was born to wars here, and there were several ever since. So I consider myself not to be naive. And I'm not saying that fighting with kindness and mercy is equal to fighting with guns and fire. But I think it's not much less, and in some cases it's even more. And I haven't been in the camp. I'm not allowed to go there. Actually, almost nobody allowed going there for the time being, but the Syrians and the volunteers of Friendships. But in my opinion, it reflects something very important that I think is in the foundation of the Israeli policy and diplomacy. I know I'm talking to people who know something, and you know, in Genesis there is a phrase that God said to Abraham, and he said, and I'm not translating the official translation, I'm translating from Hebrew, through you will all nations on earth be blessed. In my opinion, it's not a blessing, and it's not describing a situation. In my opinion, it's a command. I think what God told Abraham is what you have to do is to make sure that everybody on earth is blessed, because you are the one to do so. You are enough. You have shoulders, you have character, you have the spirit. You are the one to do it. Now, we as the people who are lucky enough to continue Abraham, I think this command goes down to us, and we should do the same. And in my opinion, and I've been a diplomat for around 2 decades, and I always thought that this is something we have to do. It's not something we do for, to gain some respect or to gain love or to gain votes in the UN. By the way, it doesn't work anyway. And what I can say is that I don't care about it, okay? This is maybe new. I really don't care. And but this is something we do because we have to do it. It's not a choice. And I wouldn't like to use empty words, because there are no words to describe. But so I used the words friends. Having friends like Friendships, like the Tiptons here, helping us doing so. Really, I think they are part of guarding this country and helping this country fulfilling its assignment. I don't know if you've heard, but even last week there was some incident there. It's not the safest place. even in the Middle East. But I thought I would take this opportunity that they are here and that you're here to try and expose to you the way we think the Israeli international policy is kind of all about. Okay, it's really in the we do other things, of course. We have other purposes, but I think if you look through history, from writing, you know, the prophets, they wrote what they had to write. They wrote it in Jerusalem, in a place, by the way, that if you ask the UN or UNESCO, there were no Jews for millennia. Yeah, there were no Jews, but it was written out of itself. And there is, even in the entrance to the UN building, there is a phrase from Zachariah, if I'm not mistaken, from Isaiah. Yeah, that's right. Zachariah is the olive leaves there. Yeah, and so I said, you know, maybe this phrase is also false, but they put it there. So we have to find out what's going on there. One way we'll do it when we'll have time. Right now we're occupied in dealing with some more serious stuff. So I would like to. This is the last day of this event, of this conference. I would like to thank you very much for participating. As I said in my opening remarks a few days ago, sometimes we take things for granted and we don't take the time to step backwards and to observe, to see what we have. So this is something that we were trying to do, and I think this is something that is done in the camp, in the medical camp near Tel Saki, in the 116th spot in Syria, because people that are not satisfied with what they have, they're satisfied with what they have, but they're not. It's not enough for them just to concentrate in what they have. They look outside and see what other people need and how they can help them. We are trying to be part of it. I think it's, as I said, I think it's in the basic, in the foundation of what we are here for. And we're having great friends, and actually people like yourselves helping us doing so. I wish you a safe trip back home. I wish you a successful day, as was the whole conference. I thank once again the government press office for everything they have done. And thank you very much.